everybody sitting in this room that we are very proud of you. My name is Sarah O'Neill, and I am the Director of Alumni Advancement here at Robert Morris University. I often tell people that I have the best job at the university, and I'm telling the truth. Every day when I go to work, I get the opportunity to meet and collaborate with so many amazing people who are also RMU graduates. The person I'm about to introduce to you is a perfect example of why I love my job so much. And I'm thrilled that I get to be the one to present to you today's keynote speaker, Jonathan Eisler. Jonathan has always had a passion for helping others, so he began his professional journey pursuing a BA in psychology from Flagler College. As an undergrad student, his passion for helping others grew, and his strength in this area were validated. As a college grad, Jonathan took on a few jobs in management and sales, where he became intrigued by how an organization's work environment and leadership can impact the employee experience. That is when Jonathan realized where his place in the world would be. And he went on to pursue his MA in Industrial Organizational Psychology from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. But even still, he knew that if he really wanted to make an impact, helping organizations become more efficient, he would need to have a better understanding of the business environment itself. So Jonathan sought out an MBA, and that is how he learned it at the Morris Graduate School of Management, claiming that it was due to the range of diverse experiences, perspectives, and backgrounds that students brought to the classroom. That's what really drew him in. As you now know, Jonathan's background is extensive, and it includes an experience in business administration and development, management and organizational consulting, training design, facilitation, and coaching. Similar to the number of degrees, he holds several titles as well. He is the Managing Director at Perspectives Organizational Consulting Group. He is the Executive Director at the Chicago School of Shoemaking and Leather Arts, and the Vice President of Programming for the Association of Consultants to Nonprofits. You could say that Jonathan is ambitious, but I'd say that's an understatement. Not only does Jonathan fill all of these roles and do them well, he is also the father of 2 Jack Russell Terriers, a loving husband to his wonderful wife, Natalie. He plays guitar, and he enjoys several outdoor hobbies, one of which I've learned includes riding his motorcycle. And all of a sudden, he became really cool. What I've come to learn and experience firsthand is that at the end of the day, he really just wants to make the world a better place. Jonathan has been so active in giving back to the RMU academic community through his volunteerism, speaking engagements, mentoring, and networking opportunities. And for that, today, the RMU administration will extend their gratitude to Jonathan. It has been an absolute joy getting to know Jonathan over this past year, and I am excited that all of you will get to know a little bit more about him today, too. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jonathan Eisler.
So I have a question for you. 24 hours left to live. What would you do with that time? Now you have 23 hours, 59 minutes remaining. So take a moment and think about what you would do today if you knew you would die tomorrow. We asked all of our graduates here the same thing. We'll discuss the answers that we received, but first I think it's important to talk about why that is such an important question for each one of us. Speaking of our graduates, you guys look great. How are you feeling today? Feel good? Yeah. Feeling proud? I'm proud of you. All proud of you here. Everyone else in the audience, faculty, friends, family members, let's start this right. Let's give Robert a quick round of applause. I know, you've come a long way since the first time you entered the classroom. Friends and family members here today, you've had the honor, sometimes the challenge, as my wife can attest to, of observing these impressive individuals and being with them throughout this academic journey. But graduates, today we're all here to celebrate you. We're here to celebrate the many successes that you've had throughout this academic journey. But we're also here to celebrate all the blood, all the sweat, and all the tears that you invested along the way. In addition to today being a day of celebration, though, today is also a day of preparation. Today's celebration is for what has been done, but today's preparation is what is to come. Because trust me, as awesome and as trying as this journey has been so far, as the saying goes, you ain't seen nothing yet. Another thing I can guarantee you is that no matter how well you plan for the future, no matter how well you plan for that career, for that title that you hope to obtain, the accolades that you hope to acquire throughout your career, there will always be surprises, and there will always be many, many things that you never expected. Look, I've had my fair share of challenges. I said a final goodbye to more friends and family members than anyone my age had after. At a young age, I came down with a debilitating disease that I'm going to battle every day that I have left on earth. I've been through events that I should have never walked away from. But I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate not just because I'm able to be here with you today. No, I'm fortunate because these events and these experiences have taught me a very, very valuable lesson. Specifically, that while we cannot predict the future, while we cannot control everything that happens around or everything that happens to us, we do have absolute control over how we experience, over how we interpret, and over how we interact with this chaotic reality that we call life. Now, as my journey through this chaotic reality comes to a close, my hope is that I'll be able to look back on my life with a sense of fulfillment and with a sense of peace, instead of a sense of bitterness or resentment or fear. Quick show of hands, who else here hopes for the same thing? So let's talk about some things that we can do today to make each moment that we're alive even more rewarding. I'd like to take a quick moment to pause to share my sincere appreciation to the men and women behind Robert Morris University. Not just for the MBA that you helped me earn a few years ago, but also for the honor of inviting me here today to share a couple concepts that have helped me and can help each of us live a life filled with meaning and a life filled with purpose. Specifically, one thing that we're going to discuss is how we can reduce the number or the severity of events in life that can derail us. We'll also explore a perspective that we can adopt that will make each day that we're alive even more rewarding. As I said, I've lost too many people. I'm sure many here can actually relate to. Accidents, age, illness, disease have taken family members, friends, and colleagues, many of them before their time. But I've found that if I focus strictly on the fact that I'll never share another laugh with my cousin Leslie, or get a big old bear hug from my dear Aunt Julie, or surf another wave from my pal TJ, if I focus too much on these devastating events, the pain can be too consuming. So a while back, I decided to shift my focus on the things that I can control. Specifically, how it is that I interpret my experiences, how I engage my environment, and how I interact with others. As I mentioned, I want to live each moment in such a way so that when it's my turn to go, I can look back on the things I've done, and I can look back on my life with a sense of pride, and with a sense of fulfillment, rather than fear, rather than resentment, and rather than bitterness. So what is it that determines how we interpret our experiences, and how we engage our environment and interact with our friends and family? Personally, I believe that it's directly correlated with the amount of time that we believe we have left to live. So in an effort to figure out what a fully engaged life filled with purpose can look like, I started exploring not just what is important during the journey, but also what is it that is important as our journey through life comes to a close. This exploration led me to start reading a number of books like Stumbling on Happiness, Man's Search for Meaning, The Happiness Project, Being Mortal. The list goes on, and if anyone here is interested, after today, to know some of the authors of some of the books that have helped me along this exploration, feel free to reach out either on LinkedIn, or we also have a Facebook page. It's called 2359'Herders. Reach out there and I'd be happy to share some of my resources with you. This exploration also led me to start watching a number of TED Talks. I watched talks on the subjects like mortality, sense of purpose, meaning, happiness. And throughout this exploration, I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by curious and intelligent individuals that like to process things with me, help me to draw and elicit new meanings from my discoveries. Specifically, I'm looking at my friend Sarah McIntosh over here, Aaron Higgins in the back, thinking about some friends that can't be here today, like Chet and Ryan Kelly. But these friends have been instrumental in helping me to understand a framework for what a fully engaged life can look like. One of the TED Talks that I watched was by Matthew O'Reilly, and his talk is called Am I Dying? The Honest Answer. So Matthew O'Reilly is a veteran emergency medical technician, or EMT, on Long Island. And he's been with, he's held the hands of, and he's heard the final words of hundreds of people as they had taken their last breath. But early in his career, Matthew decided to defy what was taught in EMT training. And when he knew that somebody was critically injured, he would give them the honest answer. Say yes. So after years of doing this, Matthew talks about the things that people focus on, the needs they want, the priorities that draws their attention, the things they recall with pride and also with resentment. Matthew says that everything that he's heard over 20 plus years of being honest can really be categorized into three things that are of importance to people as they take their final breaths. The first one being is the need for forgiveness. Matthew says that often people will voice things like, tell my family I'm sorry that I focused on work more than I focused on them. Tell my friends I'm sorry I didn't take that trip to go hiking in Machu Picchu with them. The second thing Matthew says is important as people face their final moments is the need to be remembered. Matthew says that specifically when he tells people, no, you aren't going to make it, yes, you are going to die. People even ask him, will you remember me? Please don't forget me. Or tell my family members and friends to never forget me. The final theme that Matthew has heard over many years of being honest has been that people need to know their life had meaning. He says people will talk about with a sense of pride things that they have done that made an impact on the world, things they have done for others. He says often people will also say that they wish they had done more. So this was a big aha moment for me after I watched this talk 3 or 4 times. Because now that we have a better understanding of what's really important, as our journey comes to an end, we have guides, we have pointers, we have things that can guide us every day, can guide our actions, can guide our behavior, so that when we are facing our final moments, we can do so with that sense of peace, with that sense of serenity, and a sense of fulfillment. You know what? When the destination becomes a little less scary, I believe that the journey towards it becomes a whole lot more fun as well. So let's look at what these 3 needs or categories that Matthew talked about that are being important at the end of our life. And let's look at what they can mean for us today. The first one, the need for forgiveness. For me, this means living a life without regrets. Now, I'd like to think that I have a good moral compass, so for me, this means anytime a thought crosses my mind about something that I should do, or something that I ought to do, I do it. Because I may never have a chance to do that again. Even last week, I was leaving my house, heading to work in the morning, and I'm out on Belmont waiting for the 77 bus to come along, and I realized that I forgot to say goodbye and say I love you to the woman of my dreams. And for a minute, I get a little says, I should go back and I should tell my wife how much she means to me. I should tell her how much I love her. But then wait, here comes the bus. I don't want to be late for work. I got a meeting I got to get prepared for. I'll tell her all that stuff tonight when I see her. Now wait a minute. In that moment, the only thing that is guaranteed is that moment. So if I want to live my life with minimal regrets, I turn around and I walk back in the house, look into her beautiful dark eyes, and I tell her how much she means to me. And I did. And so what? I was a couple minutes late for work. I just had to scramble a bit to prepare for my meeting. But would I rather have to deal with that little bit of extra effort that it took to do that, or God forbid, something happened to me that day? And when Chicago EMT is telling me that, no, I'm not going to make it, what do you think is going to be going through my mind? Why didn't I listen to that little mental nudge? Why didn't I take the extra time? All of us here probably have something that's been in the back of our mind telling us something that we should do. Maybe we should write Grandma a handwritten note and tell her how much we love her. Or next week, let's say we're writing a CTA, or around we see a man or woman in uniform, military uniform, we get a little thought that says I should go over and I should shake that person's hand. I should thank them for the freedom that I have. What I'm saying is do it. You may never have another chance. Just wait till after today if you're going to write that note to grandmother, though. Wait till after the ceremony. But take it from me, the little extra bit of effort that it takes to listen to these nudges, to listen to our mind when it's telling us what we should do, it's so worth it. Life is so much more fulfilling and rewarding when we can reduce the number of negative emotions and feelings associated with thoughts like I wish I had, why didn't I, or I should have. As a mentor once told me, life is a whole lot more fulfilling when we don't should all over ourselves. The second thing that Matthew talked about is people have the need or the want to be remembered. Look, once we're gone, anything we've done on our own, anything we've accumulated, all the commas in our bank account, none of that means anything. But the experiences that we've shared with others, the laughter, the tears, the smiles, the impact that we've had on the world, that will live on long after we're gone. Is Maria going to see us here today?